Un sakkutunga sagwitsi Igalaaq takutsaulamutillugu Iiva Michael Nunavimmi inuit arnaikatutiqatigiingit uqartut paleisikualutsineralaortangatigusivalliatillugit salluini taqqirilaortatinni saqqiyaartitiyu ungassillipalliat neriangit paleisikkut ammalu inuit utiqqusiqujuvugu taakko takutsauniartuit atsorunartummariummata Taanaula yuuliangusimayu qanuittoqalauttillugu July 18 saqqiyaartitsimman arna amuyauvalliatillugu nunasiutingata igalaangattigut tiguyauvaliatillugu taimangalimaataututtuit qaigalausaqqattalaortillugit qiiqsuq qianganik Nancy Ann Gray Northbeat tukimortitsiyimmarigiyanga uqartuq tamanta takugianga aula yuuliangusimayu aaninallaqittoq
15-20 years ago
15-20 no aqaaguni qaangirtuni kativikku paliisikkungi tunganarnersauyaarilaorsimayaqaluakka peqannernersaullutillu ila teemaanguyaariarale
friendship there was more respect I found at least that's what I felt
taannaqauyisimaneqartuni paliisi ullumi iqqanayaaminik qauyimaniqatsiangimmata ammalu akuni nunalimniiqattaqatik maqqummatik 111 ngulluti paliisi nunavim paliisikkungitta piyitsiqartinginnun inunnun uqartuti taakku iluunnati paliisiit ikaqqanut tuayulunut ikiaqqivikkut iliqqusaleqinермут ilinniartitauyaqiaqaqaluangata pilimmasartitaulutit nunavimmut tikilaortinnagit taanna arnaq qanuittoqartillugu pasiatsangortitauluortuq aatausiungittumu ilagayauluni imersimallamna quttuminiugianga ammalu pigiarsilluni paliisimi taanna qavisaqutiuyuk apeqqutiiguyauyuq maanna atoqtauvallialermi ikayuqutauniartuni nuatsigutauluni qatsiummangata qanuittuummangata inuit qanuingitsiarneriangit nunavutungavikkut aulatsillutit kanatalimaami inuit qanimattailimayuleqinermu apersornerianga taayauniqartuq qanuippita nuatsigutauyuq tiimimut qanuingitsiarnimu tukisigiakkannerutitsaujunut inunnutuqaangayuni kanatalimaami alukikuuttiq angiyuqqaaqayauyu nunavuttungavikkunnut
aanniavileaqattartu tukisikkannerumallutigunnaukku akaungiliuruteqarmangaan aksorunartukku atorsimangmangaata tukisikkannerasuklutigu innui qanuimmangaata nalunaersikkannerunnaqattarniaqatna
uqartuni taanna apeqsuutigiyauyuq apeqsuutiuyuq pimmeriugiangani tamanna qani mattailimal yuleqinermu tukisigiakkannerutitsainuatauqattangata kanatami ammalu nalunaerutauvartuni qanu atsigiingittigimmangaata nunaleit avatteqsimayuniittut nunavummi tamaanilu kanatami tuqaaqagiyauluungartu ikayuqutauniartuni pivaal saqqiigutauluni atuagauniartuni piusivaallivalliaqullugu qanuingitsiarnerianga inui kanatami taakaapersortauqattartuini ruartauqattaniartuit apersuutitsanut nunavutungavikkut atiliqsimayunut piliriginginnut kanatami sikusiutileriyikku atsiisimalermiyuimaqqaunnik sikusiutiinnik umiartuarnik ukiortartumi sermiit atertausimanerianginnik atortutik ilisarsiirgutauluortui Halifaxmi ippatsaq sikusiussileриyikkut uqartu taana ilangat ateqartitauniartuq sermileq taana nunavummi sermili qauyimayauluni ammalutungilia Don Jack sermilik tauvani sermiu ateriangata malittugu Yukon me Sikusiutileriikku taagu ikajornaqarpattuuqawisarpattutit kanannarpassiani ammani kajortuapagilluni qinertinut tuarvinnertuqaleruni ammalu sikusiut tiit aulannerivattangitta ukiortartuu imanginni Naakua tariuakiani kammisuniguyauyuit tusaqamarsimalermiyukikkutuinarnin tamanniuqqutiqarunnailutaavsimannerianga qisserayannik taavani tariuakiani taimangani aaqqattausimalin 2009 minik ammalattuiniqallarittunununavu miuni ilangagut piqatau neqartaungikkaluartillugit uqaqatigiunnersilaurakku aaju Peter taanna inuuluni kiggartuijuuvattu qisilerinermun uqartigijauvat killuni inui piyunnautigiyanginnut tautukainerlavun Nakammi aaju teema taakko European Commission kut tusaqamasimamata uqausitseriaujuni tamanna natseriai niviatau gunniirtitauqattarsimaneriyanginnik maannalo qimiqquartaulertuni qanu isimagiviutamanna
Pigumasima javu akkude qimaqqortauqullugu tukisiqullugit tario akianermiutait atsualu assuqornartukkuortittisimammata inunnik angunasittinik nunalinnillu nunavu iluani ammalu angunasittinik kanatau iluani kalaallinunanganilu
taimale qanu taakkua qallunaujarunangittuit titaqarunnangittuulluuni qallunaatitut tusertauquyamini isimagiyamini qanu piyunnaqqat
Tekkuatiterassimajuugaluat kavamakkungan nunavumi tekkunungaqai angunasuttileri pilirisuunut uppalu kavamakkunnun uqaalagutik uppalu upagutillutik inut qallunaujarunnangikkutik isumagidamennik qanu attuanaqarsimamanga tamanna akerartuineq puidinik natternik neviatsaqarunnarneq qanu attuanaqarsimamanga uqauserigunittiuk assualu ikajorajartu tamanna
qauppamu tamanna killiqalerilluni tallenermu
August 7 tungaanut titteqarsimayutainna titteqarsimajunik uppalu qanu attuanaqarsimamanga inunnut August 7 mi takulortaqa qarasaujakkuut piveqartusuli
aaju teema qanu tanma piqtivanguva kiggartuijullutit tamanna nuqqartitausimaneringa niuqqutiqaqartarninnatseriarni
qaudimabugut nunavumiullutta qaudimabugut inullutta qanu assoqornaq simammanga tamanna maligaq assimmaqialut tammarsimammata tammarsimasoriqaktigu assoruukkanneq tualuulorsimavugut taana maligaq tappaulertillugu qimeqqujaugialik qanoq ajornanginnersakkuurunnarmangata qanoq atuuteqarnersamik ikayuuteqarnersamik aaqigiartau kunnarmangaan piujummaariugajarpu tamanna
qanu tamanna attunneqaqqa attursimaneqaqqa niuqqutigiyau gunnailisimaneriyangi natseqajait
attuanaqarsimaju upinnarani tukisiaangammata tario akianermiutain innui piyunnautinganing tukisiangammata piyunnauteqartitaujuguugalua kisiani neviatsaqarunnarne nunartualemaami uppalu kanatami katammat kataqatausipa larsimabugun qisiq amma qisini neviatsaqarunnarne piyugilaugunneermat katammat kataqataulluta pigunnauttivut atulertitaunatik upinnarani sernaartiit nipitujualulluti sangijualulluti pilorsimammata uvagulli pijunnautivutaanna innuit pijunnautingan atulertigiaqartavut kavamakkuunnik ikajortaulluta aamalu kavamatoqqakkunnut ikajortaugutta piyummarigajartu
ammalu qanu maana qimeqqujauneriyanga Ippigiviuk.
Quviappuan qimeqquyarman ammalu atuutaqarunnarpat tukisisaugunnarpat naalataugunnarpat qimeqqunit atulertitaugunnarpat inuit uqaussingin suliurisaugunnarpat hauvvalu atulertitaugunnarpata piukajarpoq maungattuinnaaruni suvalikia maungattuinnaarpan suliuritsaangammiisavu teema.
Takuttaleqitiulli kuajaliortausimayuullerlartuumik takuajaliortausimayuit inuit paajiit aulatau neqartillugit kikkutuinait ukiuli qattituinernik upatsimaloortuipingooriartorsimayuni ilagiyauluni 81 ukiulik Mary Kallang taanna paajiuqatau nalunangittunilu taututtugu quviasuttummariuloortoq. Lisa saulluapik aulatitsigunnalartu tuiugunnarlaortu atiliorsimayamini kajjaanallaqtisseqinnitillugu kimmeqormi nakormi aulatitsigunnalauravit ajequtiqarnerivisseqqiaqoyannik aulatiitsivitsaavattugu inginnaartauttuqaarutinga cbcnorth@cbc.ca maana silauqanuinninga qanuinnerilаарtangaluqauyugiakenernaarmikattigu. Igalaaq nuqqavitsagatukittereerivuq iqqaalitsigumavvugut CBC Igalaaq takutsuajunnerti qaritaujakkutigut tuqaarutunga cbc.ca/north CBC jamkullu ammalu YouTube-kut nakormitautoqataartisi nakormi David Gunn ajjiliquyivut Eva Michael yunga inunnasi unnuqatsianeqqusi.
Her particular skill set can be helpful to us.
She's a con artist.
I need to get off that boat and back to being a full-time detective, and you need to stay out of prison. The best way we do that is to keep our heads down and do as we're told.
So, you want to watch CBC News Explore, a new kind of news channel. Here's how to find us. We're on the CBC News app, on CBC Gem, and on your smart TV. Stream anytime. It's always free. CBC News Explore.
I am Gagwege. My name means everything.
Tom Longboats.
I am Wolf Clan, Onondaga Nation. I've run many different races. I've run to survive and to be free. I've run to win for honor.
His people might be lazy, but this one's damn fast.
My people respected our runners, people who carried important messages from village to village.
I need a guide to the next post. Dispatch carrier, sir. I can get you there. God sakes, man! Slow down. Who do you think I am, Tom Longboat? No, sir. I am.
Running makes me feel alive. It's everything.
Tom Longboat was the first Indigenous person to win the Boston Marathon. He ran his way to international fame and became an inspiration to generations of athletes.
Good evening. Welcome to Northbeat. I'm Megan Roberts. The Yukon government gave another update today on the situation at the Eagle Gold Mine site. A heap leach failure in June spilled millions of liters of cyanide solution. Today, the Yukon government shared the latest results from water sampling in watersheds near the mine. The results show that cyanide contamination continues to spread. Biologists say cyanide levels have significantly exceeded guidelines for fish in at least one site. They're sampling several sites and are on the lookout for both short and long-term impacts on nearby fish populations, including Chinook salmon.
Acute effects for cyanide when they're above the guideline that Brendan talked about. Our biggest concern is lethal effects, or essentially fish dying quickly once it's above there. The chronic effects are fish that are able to tolerate above the guidelines, but that's more into effects such as increased respiration rates, changes in their reproduction rate, how much energy they're putting towards eggs to reproduce.
For weeks, chemicals and heavy metals have leached into both surface and groundwater. Officials say the levels of contaminants in the groundwater are mostly unknown because of challenges accessing testing sites, including instability at the mine site, recent heavy rains, and wildfires. The Yukon government says it will start publishing test results online today. Meanwhile, Victoria Gold, the company that owns the Eagle Gold Mine, could be on the hook for more than $43 million in unpaid bills. Jackie Hong has that story.
A miner's lien is a legal tool available to mine contractors who haven't been paid. 12 of those liens have been registered against Victoria Gold at the Mayo Mining Recorder's office since the heap leach failure. CBC News hasn't been able to view the individual files yet, but in total, the claimed amount adds up to more than $43.3 million. A miner's lien essentially holds the physical value of the mine against the debt and gives lien holders some priority over other creditors. But recording a lien is only the first step. Contractors must then file a petition to the Yukon Supreme Court within 60 days. Only one contractor has done that so far, Whitehorse-based Ajax Steel Limited. It claims Victoria Gold owes it nearly $56,000 and that the company told it on July 4th that all accounts payable were on hold. A judge has yet to view the case. Jackie Hong, CBC News, Whitehorse.
As pressure mounts against Victoria Gold, there's a call for its management to step aside from the remediation project. The Eagle Gold Mine sits on the First Nation of Notchonayak Dun's territory. The First Nation doesn't want Victoria Gold management to be in control of the remediation work. They say Victoria Gold CEO John McConnell's recent public comments, his first since the heap leach failure, ring hollow and false. Chief Donna Hope says, quote, "The company has lost our confidence and we do not believe they will be effectively able to address this disaster they created in our traditional territory." Hope says the First Nation no longer supports this project or any other heap leach mining on their territory. She wants the Yukon government to take action to remedy the situation, which she calls a catastrophe. In the Northwest Territories today, a conference on the Katlodeche First Nation is talking about the importance of water and how to protect it. The Water is Sacred Conference is put on by the Indigenous organization Keepers of the Water. The annual event brings together Indigenous leaders, environmental advocates, and concerned citizens. Today, there was an update on the organization's water monitoring program. Katlodeche Chief April Martel talked about the importance of finding funding to protect water and explained how her First Nation has been affected by climate change.
So in the flood, when it hit KSN, again, we weren't expecting that flood. I was sleeping that evening and I thought I'd nap because I was up, 29 hours that night. Our daily monitoring, all of our people were driving around. We didn't expect that water to come and to flood all of KFN. We had a lot of building to do. I just about, lost my life. The water was coming. I lost my car, lost everything. Everyone lost everything that day. And to the people of Ligget, right, too. We were just praying for them as well because they were flooding that town as well. And it was a lot of trauma for people, and we're still dealing with the trauma from that.
Keepers of the Water Executive Director Jesse Cardinal says these gatherings help compare information between nations and experts and validate the concerns people have across the country. The conference runs from today until Saturday. RCMP and Yellowknife have received results of a drug analysis after a large seizure in May. They say over 1 kilogram of methamphetamine was among drugs found at a vacant apartment. At the time, RCMP seized 2 handguns, over $12,000 in cash, prescription drugs, illegal cannabis products, and suspected cocaine. Now, they've learned it was actually meth pressed into pills. Police say this is the largest seizure of this substance ever in the Northwest Territories. A 21-year-old man from Saskatchewan has been charged. Nunavut's Inuit Women's Association says the way police dealt with an arrest in Saluit last month shows the growing gap between police and Inuit. A warning, these images are distressing. A video of the incident on July 18th shows a woman being pulled out of her car window and into police custody while witnesses yell she's having a seizure. The executive director of Northbeat says she found the video disturbing.
15, 20 years ago, the Katowik Regional Police Force used to be more friendly with locals. There was more friendship, there was more respect, I found. At least that's what I felt.
She finds most current officers inexperienced and says they don't stay in the community for very long. Only 2 of the Nunavut Police Service's 111 officers are Inuit. They say all officers take 12 hours of online cultural awareness training before arriving in Nunavut. The woman in the incident was charged with several offenses, including impaired driving and assaulting a police officer. Quebec's Bureau of Independent Investigation says it is investigating the incident. More reaction tonight on the federal government's funding cuts to searches for missing children and unmarked graves at former residential school sites. Yesterday at the Yukon Council of First Nations Annual General Assembly, the Yukon Residential School and Missing Children Project gave an update. The 2 chairs said the cuts fly in the face of the government's commitments to reconciliation. Ottawa recently announced a funding cap of $500,000 per year. That's down from a previous $3 million.
It just makes you wonder, what are they up against? You know, it's very truthful and honestful across this country, the work that we are doing for our people. Our family want to know what happened to their child. They need closure. We all need closure.
We've been through so much tragedy, so much of our history is devastating, you know, and the way these things have impacted our people. And I'm talking about the church, the federal government, you name, on and on. And now they tell us they want to repair that relationship, but they put barriers in the way. So what does that tell us, you know?
The Yukon Residential School and Missing Children Project says it's too early to know how the cuts will affect its searches. The project is looking at 10 sites in the territory. A northern Manitoba company is advertising a trip to an ancient Inuit hunting camp, but it's raising concerns that tourists could damage the irreplaceable cultural and historical site. Caitlin Igalaaq has more.
The company behind a tour advertised in northern Manitoba says it's a life-changing adventure, with visits to what it calls the Hudson Bay version of Stonehenge. But some worry Lazy Bear Expeditions tour will disrupt a sacred site for Inuit. The site is called Hubbard Point, and it's located north of Churchill. This is the ancient Inuit hunting camp, believed to have been used for at least 1,000 years. Various rock formations are evidence that people used to live and hunt there. Christopher Dembitsky of conservation group Oceans North is among those that recently wrote to the province, voicing concerns about the site being advertised as the location of a houseboat-like vessel where tourists can pay to stay.
You wouldn't just build, a hotel right on the Grand Canyon. You wouldn't build residential accommodation in a gravesite, right?
Tour operator Wally Doddridge says his company has been doing boat tours of the Hudson Bay coast for 30 years, and in that time has been one of the largest employers in Churchill, employing a significant local Indigenous workforce. Doddridge says their walking tours at the site highlight nature and culture. Caitlin Gowerluck, CBC News, Winnipeg.
There's a new Yukon welcome sign outside the Whitehorse Airport. Local artist Justine Senoa created the sign. The Yukon government unveiled the piece during a ceremony yesterday. The government has been replacing 9 of the wooden place markers that have welcomed visitors since the mid-90s along the Yukon's highways and outside the airport. The Canadian Coast Guard has named its 2 new Arctic patrol vessels after northern glaciers. It revealed the names during a ceremony at the shipyard in Halifax yesterday. The Coast Guard said one vessel will be called Donjak Glacier, after a glacier in Yukon's Kluane National Park. The second is Sermelik Glacier, after a glacier in Nunavut. The Coast Guard's 103-meter-long ships will be tasked with fisheries enforcement and surveillance missions on the East Coast. They'll also support offshore search and rescue and ice-breaking operations in Arctic and southern waters.
Whether we are performing critical search and rescue operations, ensuring marine environments are clean, or keeping waterways safe and accessible, the Canadian Coast Guard is ready to respond 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Donjak Glacier is expected to be delivered to the Canadian Coast Guard in late 2026 and Sermelik in 2027. And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.
We're not gonna be here forever, right? Makes me want to make some changes, maybe a big one.
Your family can't take much more. Anyone in your life know you're doing that?
Never really a good time to stir the pot.
I did not know what my future would look like.
The industry wasn't set up for me to thrive in.
I didn't realize how formative 25 to 30 would be.
I was so excited when they said I got to do an interview with you.
Q with Tom Power. Available now on CBC Listen or wherever you get your podcasts.